40 here with another ship's roster review, and today I am looking at Bonebasher's ships. So, right off the top, we can see here he's using the Executrix with Wigs and Biggs X-Wings and the Slave 1. Now, I think based off your inventory here, it's going to be a lot better starting fleet for you. First thing we're going to do, though, is we are going to take a look at your capital ships here. And I think there's several important things to note about your capital ships. First is you don't have a 6-star Executrix, which means you're not getting Zetas off of them. For this, you're going to need to just continue trying to get your Executrix up so that you can be completing the challenge whenever it comes around. And for that, I would suggest gearing up your Grand Moff Tarkin some more, leveling him, putting some work into his abilities, putting 5.15 level mods on him. They don't need to be good ones. Just 5. Level 15 minimum is all you really need to help out your ship improve and get the ship up to level 85. This is probably the most immediate thing you need to be doing on ships. Work on the abilities of the Executrix, because getting this up to get those Zeta mats is really good, and on top of that, it's just a fantastic capital ship. You're not going to regret getting this capital ship up. So I suggest following through and just continue working on this. You can work on the other capital ships a little bit, but really this is the most important one right here. Could probably just ignore the endurance altogether, to be honest with you, apart from just getting it up for the challenges. But I would say go all in on the Executrix here and gear up your Grand Moff Tarkin. You'll get a lot of use out of it, and you're not going to regret it. Now, the other thing here is you do need to work on your Home 1. The Home 1 is still a pretty good capital ship. Not the best. It's not as good as Chimera or Executrix, but it's decent, and it has challenges, and you're going to need it to get the Chimera. So I would say slowly work on it. At least get to, once you get 5 stars, especially put a little bit more work into it so you can unlock the Chimera at 5 stars, because Chimera is still a really good capital ship at 5 stars. I would say at the moment, don't put any more work you need into it than to get Chimera 7-star. Once you have Chimera 7-star, you can stop until you have both Chimera and Executrix maxed out, unless you want to put a teeny bit of work into it for territory battles. But that means you probably want to take Home 1 to about Gear 9, Gear 10 with your Akbar, and just have some good Rebel ships underneath them to use. Now, while keeping in mind the fleets I'm wanting to use, I'm going to be keeping in mind Home 1 and unlocking the Chimera. And also, but we're going to be trying to form a fleet that's going to work well under your Executrix here. So let's go all the way up here and see what we can do for you. All the way up. So, the first thing I'm seeing here, what you weren't using in your starting fleet, is TIE Advance. TIE Advance is an excellent ship. I would suggest for anyone. Basically, the fleet I'm about to suggest for you is basically the Phoenix team of ships. This is something any beginner should be using in ships till they decide to go to more of the advanced fleets like Geos or Bounty Hunters. So, TIE Advanced is among this list. This should be right now in your starting fleet. It's excellent. It does massive amounts of damage on your basing. You almost have it 7-star, and your Vader's Gear 10. That's excellent. Get that Vader up a little bit more. You won't regret it. Get your Vader up to level 85. Really, you should be treating this like normal arena. These characters are fantastic, and they're going to do you a lot. This is a fantastic ship anyhow. In future fleets, you'll be wanting to use it as a reinforcement, but right now, it needs to be used as a starter. So this is going to be one of your 3 starting ships. Next, you're going to want to use Ghost. Here's what's going to happen is the other ship you're going to want to be using at the start is Biggs here. And by using ghosts, you can stealth your TIE advance so that people can't attack it, and they'll be forced to attack your bigs while your TIE advance is dealing out massive amounts of damage. But for this, you're going to need to gear up your Phoenix characters here. I see that you don't have Hera up, and just looking at it, sorry for this, I shouldn't have clicked on it. But you need to gear up your Kanan, you need to gear up your Zeb, you need to 7-star these characters. You need to be working on this anyhow in order to get a 7-star Thrawn. So that's not going anywhere, but getting these guys up is going to be excellent for you. And this is an excellent starting ship and an excellent long-term ship. It's still used in high-end meta ships today. So work on your Ghost. Now, next thing you need to work on, and I already mentioned it, is Biggs. Biggs is still one of the best tanks and ships. You should be using it. You should be 7-starring this ship and gearing up Biggs because Biggs is just an excellent character and an excellent ship that's going to be used for a long term, whether it's as a reinforcement or a starting ship. Yes, Houndstooth is out now, and it's a way better tank. And you're going to want to think about the bounty hunter ships in the long term. But for the moment, this is going to be a great starting tank and ships for you. And you're going to need to get the Ghost up, and you're going to need to get another Rebel ship up anyhow in order to unlock a 7-star Chimera. So this really does not hurt. And you're going to need the Ghost to get a 7-star Chimera. So that one doesn't hurt either. Now let's look at your reinforcement. For your first reinforcement, you're going to need, I'm going to suggest what I think is the best reinforcement in the game, which is Phantom 2. Which means you're going to need to gear up these Phoenix characters. Again, you're going to need 7-star the ship, which you're going to have to do anyhow. In order to get a 7-star Chimera, you're going to have to 7-star these characters, which you have to do anyhow to get a 7-star Grand Admiral Thrawn. Really, I'm suggesting things you have to do. But Covert Strike right here, its reinforcement ability, one of the best in the game, because what it's going to do is it's going to reduce your reinforcement cooldown on your capital ship, allowing you to call in another ship immediately on the next turn and basically swarm the other team quickly. Top of that, this ability right here of Ezra's Maximum Impact is amazing. It deals massive amounts of damage when the ship comes out. It can practically take out another ship. If you have all these characters geared up and this ability maxed out, it can do up to 100k in damage, 80 to 100k normally. So I really suggest getting up the Phantom 2 here. Something that I currently use as my first reinforcement fleet every single time, and it does not let me down. So I suggest going after Phantom 2. Now, let's look at your next reinforcement. Your next reinforcement should be Boba Fett. And after you max out the reinforcement ability on Phantom 2, you should max out the reinforcement ability on Slave 1. It's a plug-and-play reinforcement. Not the best in the game, but still really useful. I still use it. It's taunt, annoying, just a good tank. So go in, work on it, gear up Boba. I would suggest gearing up the ships that are in your starting fleet before gearing up the tanks, but max out the reinforcement abilities on your reinforcements first. Now, I think at the moment you can only use 2 reinforcements, but over time you're going to need more reinforcements. You're going to need some dark side ships anyhow in order to get the Executrix up, in order to get Zeta Mats. So let's look at some that I think you can use as good reinforcements that you've already put a little bit of work into, or you should put work into for the future. So first thing is, you're going to need a good dark side tank. Houndstooth is really difficult. You probably don't want to go out of your way right now to get it. However, there's another really good option that you can work on. Really easy to get up. Which is right here, Sunfac. Sunfac's Geonosian Starfighter is an excellent tank. Still using the top ends because there's really only 3 good tanks and ships Biggs, Sunfac, and Houndstooth. So by working on Geonosian Starfighter here, you'll have a good tank for the Executrix and for the Zeta Mats, which will really help you out and give something to soak up the damage in those challenges, and you won't regret it. This is going to be a great tank that will help you out, and it's also a good reinforcement if you decide to put a second tank in there. Another good one here is First Order TIE Fighter. Maybe not the best, but I personally like it. Its reinforcement ability is quite good, and the ship's good. It comes out those massive amounts of damage, and it has target lock on its basic. To me, it's a good all-around ship. It used to be in the meta quite common back when it was 5v5, and it still has some use. So 7-starring this, and you're going to need some First Order characters anyhow to unlock BB-8. So again, it's just trying to find out what's going to be the easiest road along for you. And this is one character that will help you out on both ships and in other parts of the game, including territory battles. So I suggest First Order TIE Fighter. Now, the ships, again, that I'm suggesting right now are more things to get that Zeta in the future while also improving your ships and improving yourself in other areas of the game. So the next two, these are the final two I'll take a look at right now. For what you need to be looking at in the future is you need Scimitar and Imperial TIE Fighter here are both going to be excellent ships for you. If you 7-star the Scimitar, it makes a really good reinforcement, another plug-and-play one. And that works especially well with teams that have the Imperial TIE Fighter in it. And Darth Maul is a really good character still. He has lots of uses, still occasionally appears up in the meta as a countering team, and has a lot of use in areas like territory battles and territory wars. It's a character you won't regret in the long term working on gearing up and leveling. The other one here, Imperial TIE Fighter, another excellent character. He is one of the fastest in the game and has a really good ship that can be used as a great starting ship as well, especially if you want to use it in place of the Ghost, but I don't think that's the route to go for you. But if you need another dark side ship in order to get those Zetas, that's an option. Oops, didn't mean to press that. The other thing to think about is you need some other ships to get that 7-star Chimera, maybe. So if you need Wedge's X-Wing here, makes a really good ship. So 7-starring that will give you another option for helping out with getting a 7-star Chimera. And I personally use Cassian's U-Wing, but Biston's U-Wing or Cassian's U-Wing are both really good ships to get up for helping out with unlocking that 7-star Chimera. But really what you need to be working on right now is just focusing on getting up those ships that I said you should be using in your arena right now and gearing those characters and getting them up, and that should help you. And if you're seeing that you're having a lot of trouble with Squad Arena, you're able to do a little bit better job in Fleet Arena than you can Squad Arena, maybe you want to focus down on these characters. And if you get these characters up, Bonebasher, then you'll be getting shards every day, which will then help you do better in Squad Arena, as you can use that to improve those characters. In the long term, there are some other teams you can take a look at. You can take a look at Geos and Bounty Hunters, but for right now, I'm not going to go take a look at those because I think you have plenty of other things you need to be focused on, because you need to be thinking about improving your current fleet for ships, and you need to be thinking about getting up those capital ships to better stars and working on them. You need to be thinking about unlocking that Zeta challenge, and you need to be thinking about getting yourself a 7-star Chimera. So I really don't want to pressure you to go anywhere like Geos or Bounty Hunters at the moment, as I think you have lots of other things in this game to work on. But hopefully things like working on these Phoenix characters here will help you out in other parts of the game as well. Again, if you have any more questions for me, Bonebasher, just reach out to me, talk to me, but I really hope this helped you out. I'll do this again once you think you've kind of run through the evidence I've already given you, and you can reach out to me in Discord and ask any questions. But talk to you later. Bye. This is David 4040 signing out.